So here's an update on what actually happened, and this is coming from my DC sources that have been right on the money for the past couple of months. And I also do have an update on the Spider-Man 4 and 5 storylines for my fan supporters only. I'm going to be uploading onto my Spidey page afterwards. And it's also interesting because I have another update, and here's a hint as to what I'm going to reveal. There's going to be a return for a specific main event, and they're going to be making a return to help someone who really needs it. If you want to know more about it, then just join fan support. Okay, so here's what I heard about David Zaslov from my DC sources, and he wanted to save as much money as possible, which makes sense by canceling Batgirl and using it as a tax write-off, as well as many other projects. And there's an article talking about how Warner Brothers Discovery now sees up to $3.5 billion in content write-downs, $1 billion more than previously anticipated. Yet here's the issue. Ever since the announcement of Henry Cavill's firing, and now James Gunn running his mouth all over social media and further antagonizing the fan base, the stocks have been going downhill, right? It's pretty much around $9 a share. And if it goes down to $7 a share, that's going to be a $150 million loss for Warner Brothers. Case in point, James needs a nice cup of shut the fuck up and stop acting like a child by trying to humiliate scoopers. And he has a really bad history of Grace Randolph, of all people. And to have his sick and twisted followers that makes the toxic Snyder Cut fans look like a fucking classic go after them. And I've seen this kind of behavior personally on my own fucking page. And I don't know where these people are fucking coming from. They're like James Gunn fucking fans. And it's really disturbing that majority of my posts, skyrockets. It has, something to do with something controversial like that. And, I end up getting cursed at, getting called all kinds of names, yet majority of these people don't even like my page. And it's always the same people that come back. And honestly, if you don't like someone's opinion on a page or a page itself, why do you bother coming back just to insult? It just doesn't make any fucking sense, but they're James Gunn supporters. And, it's really fucking sick, twisted, and disturbing, And it's like these people feed off the negative energy. It's really fucking scary. And it's weird because they act and have the intelligence level of a child. Yet, I just want to make sure I take a look at their profile before I respond back. Look at their profile, and they're in their fucking mid-30s to 40s age range, and it's fucking scary that they use all kinds of fucking slangs and terms, and have to fucking look up on fucking Google as to what the hell they're talking about. They can't even speak or write proper English. It's difficult to fucking read. And look, I understand that Warner Brothers has massive financial issues, but David went a little too fucking far. Look, it's good for business financially to save money, okay? Especially when you've had a lot of losses. But at the same time, it's bad for business because a lot of people lost their jobs and confidence with that company. I mean, shit, they fucking lost Legendary Pictures to Sony Pictures. And that was announced on November 20th, 2022, that Legendary and Sony Pictures announced a new multi-year worldwide theatrical film distribution partnership. So yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery had done fucked up and failed to make amends with them. And look, I've heard nothing but good things in the past couple of months about David Zaslov, but in truth, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. That is very incompetent, meaning not having or showing the necessary skills to do something, successfully. Because it's all over the place. He talked about how he was going to clean house, and he did. He met with those who were wronged by the previous regime to apologize for what happened, but no one knows for sure the specifics of the conversations that, were being held. That wasn't made publicly, and no one really knows about what the hell the conversations were about. And he also promised that his main focus would be on the Trinity, which consisted of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And also heard that he actually liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was an improvement from the Joss Whedon version, and he was kind of a fan of the Snyderverse global movement, the good things they've done of charity, and saw, potential financial interest in the future until James Gunn came into the picture and convinced him that was a really, really bad idea, and that he shouldn't, do that because he wouldn't make much of a profit. And of course, Black Adam was fucking proof of it. Even with the addition of Henry Cavill towards the end of the film. Here's the thing. You can't focus on that as being a means to, making money. Because if Cavill was in the film as Superman for like 20 to 30 minutes towards the end of the film, that is a way to get the audience's attention. But having him in a fucking cameo for like less than 10 seconds in a film, that ain't gonna bring people in. I mean, it'll bring people in to want to see the end credit scene, but that's just not gonna justify the means to an end. And case in point, having one of the most highest paid actors in Hollywood couldn't save the fucking film. Yet it's unfair to expect any major profit off of, a first film, including characters the general audience have no fucking clue about. They don't know about the JSA, they never fucking heard of them. Justice League, and other being familiar with Henry Cavill's Superman, who was only in there for a few fucking seconds. Not only that, but the test screenings were so fucking bad that Warner Brothers shelled out even more money to make it better, yet that just didn't fucking do it either. And it's very rare for a first film to hit the $1 billion mark, and you can't count on Aquaman because, his character was already introduced in another film. So, there you have it. And look, this is really going to piss people off as to what I'm about to say, but here's the truth. James is not a fan of the Snyder Cut movement, even with all the good causes and the people who've done good by, basically donating to charity and, just being cool about shit. He doesn't see that. He doesn't give a fuck about that. He sees them as a fucking toxic cult, period. And he strongly feels that the fan base does not deserve to be rewarded and deserves punishment. You need to fucking put your foot down with them, and that's it. They already got this Zack Snyder's Justice League film, and that's all they're fucking getting. That's just the way he feels. And that no one has any bad blood with Henry Cavill. That it's just they're trying to do what's best for business, and was very well aware of the backlash that was coming from not only the Snyder Cut community, but the Henry Cavill fans are really fucking pissed off, And also, as far as that rumor is concerned about, what Tenet Nerd stated, as far as like James Gunn disliking Henry Cavill, well, the truth is, James just doesn't like Henry Cavill's version of Superman and feels that the character is very bland. He does not personally dislike Cavill, but I could see how it led to that assumption. It's like kind of like the telephone game. You say one thing and it gets exaggerated. So basically, yeah, they all were very well aware of the backlash, which made David very nervous. However, James is not at all bothered by the toxic fandom and will choose to ignore them because he reassured David that, yeah, things might get really, really fucking bad at first, which it is, but the same people who claim to boycott and express their fucking hatred and anger at this very moment will be the first ones, this is the way he said it, in line to see the new fucking films, then come on social media to complain about it, despite their fucking previous claims that they would never spend a fucking dime or a penny to support these films. I'm sorry, but I have to agree with that. It's sad but fucking true. And I'm sure most will keep their word, but not everyone's going to avoid seeing the new DCU films and actually boycott it. It's just not going to fucking make a dent. And look, making petitions and, making noise on social media, harassing or bullying them, it's not going to hurt DC Studios, okay? It's going to send some kind of a message, but refusing to support the films financially will. You got to hurt them with your fucking wallets. And the problem is that people are just too fucking stupid to realize this. And that's the only way to send a message and get the job done successfully. Okay? Because look what happened with Black Adam. And look what that fucking led to. Because, nobody was fucking buying tickets to see Black Adam. And he reassured David that eventually this reboot will save DC Studios money. Obviously, profit. And, James knows what he's doing. He's very fucking confident. And, he just wants to do what's best in service of the stories and characters, as he stated on Twitter, in the same way that Marvel Studios has done. And I'm going to fucking say this over and over again, but DC Studios should be its own fucking thing and not try to copy Marvel Studios. Okay? I understand that they kind of tried to do that at first, but they kind of fucked up because they kind of like rushed everything to catch up with Marvel. But you just can't copy the same formula and expect the same fucking results. Especially with how tarnished DC Studios is right now. And basically, James said what's not best for business was to continue with the DCEU with these A-list actors and keep paying them millions of dollars each for these films. I mean, Gal Gadot was going to get $20 million for Wonder Woman 3, and they wouldn't make much of a profit, which convinced David to go with Gunn and Safran's plans of just rebooting the DCU and, to keep what will work and get rid of what won't. Meaning that it could be possible that not all the actors will be recast or replaced. And that it will work in the sense of how the new Halloween films have had, some of the same cast members, but ignores elements of the other films. Case in point, James Gunn's Suicide Squad And, you know, the Peacemaker cast could be safe from getting rebooted, as well as other characters and story that works, because, you know, obviously they're close friends and family members. His wife is not going to get fucking fired. He doesn't have the balls to fucking do that. She'll come back. Look, if that's the case, then it would suck, because they literally got rid of all the hardcore members of the original cast members from the DCEU, therefore ending the Snyderverse simply because, you know, they don't want to pay them millions of dollars anymore. They want to fucking profit now. And if they're gonna reboot the, you know, DCEU, then all bets should be fucking off, and, you know, not kept safe simply because it's James Gunn's personal friends and family members and his fucking pet project. It should not get special treatment, because regardless of what, you know, they will do, the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker directly ties to the DCEU. We all saw that at the end of the Peacemaker show, okay? And as of recent, he debunked the idea that everyone's gonna get recast with the cast of Suicide Squad. You know, and also the main fact that he's implying that Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is staying. Yet that is 100% fucking bullshit from what I heard. She took it really bad. She's no longer going to be playing this character anymore, because she loves the fans and she loves the character of Wonder Woman and what they had planned for the third film. So, I mean, he fucking lied. No one is fucking safe. Everybody's getting a fucking pink slip, alright? And, you know, remember when he claimed there's no truth to Marvel Studios looking for a Zac Efron type for the character of Adam Warlock? It was fucking true. And he went after the Illuminati, you know, who basically had sources and stated that, you know, he tried to embarrass them, when in fact he just kind of did that to himself when it was revealed to be true. And then he loves to delete all of his tweets and claims that they're deleted monthly, yet people are starting to notice that he's deleting them daily now, especially with what's going on with the DC studios and the whole controversy. And I'm glad that Ray Fisher called him out on this bullshit. Okay? Case in point, look, no one in Hollywood is fucking truthful, okay? They ain't fucking saints. He's a fucking liar, just like everyone else, okay? And right now, David should really focus on getting him a PR manager, because lately he's been fucking up left and right by antagonizing a passionate fan base that's already fucking pissed off. They really are. They're fucking fed up with this shit. It's not just the Snyder Cut fans. It's not just the Henry Cavill fans, but it's a lot of DC fans as well. It's only the piss and fucking James Gunn fans that are fucking defending it, you know? And sucking his fucking dick. This one's really gonna fucking piss people off if it comes light, and trust me, it will. That's how confident I am with this scoop. Is that major drastic changes are coming, you know, DCU, especially the original source material. Obviously, they have to do that. They can't mimic what worked in the past or what they used in the past. And yes, meaning race, gender, and sexual preference swapping is coming. We could have a black Batman, an Asian Superman, and a transgender actress playing Wonder Woman, which was done in the Supergirl TV show with the character of Dreamer, who was played by a transgender actress. So yeah, this all could be fucking possible. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's fucking possible. Because according to James, there's not going to be any specific race for these auditions, and everyone will be open to, you know, auditioning. Okay? And we all know that James loves to do that shit. Does not have a care in the world for these new DCU characters to resemble as to what they look like in the fucking comics. Okay, he has a past history of doing that kind of shit and saying, you know, it has nothing to do with race. It's whoever's for the best job, blah, 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 la-di-la, you know. And also expect major D-list characters to be seen on the big screen as well. That's obvious. And the main focus will be on each one of the DCU. And diversity is key, and that was one of James Gunn's other selling point. Okay? So don't expect every character to look like what they look like in the comics. Expect a lot of diversity in these films, because that's what he plans on doing. And look, I don't find this hard to believe, and if you do your proper research, you'll find out this is true, all right? And I posted some of those articles to back that up on my Daily Spidey page. People refuse to believe what I'm fucking reporting, yet don't say I didn't try warning you. This is coming. You know, because James Gunn is very well known to be a left-wing, foul-mouthed nutcase, which is why he got fired from Disney in the first place, because he just does not know how to keep his disgusting mouth shut, right? I've heard about what happened in the past with the whole pedo parties and shit, and I just think that's disturbing as fuck. But like I said, I'm not going to judge him as a person. I don't fucking know him from a hole in the wall. I'm just, whatever I'm hearing, I'm passing along. And here's another major issue, okay? DC Studios also has shareholders. And if James Gunn's mouth continues to run and causes any more trouble, okay, like losing millions of dollars, they're within their right to fire his ass. So he should probably stop fighting with people on social media, and David should really, you know, hire a PR manager for his ass, because it's just getting really bad and he's making it worse. And that's all I heard from DC source. That's been really accurate with information over the past few months, and it's a damn shame there was a major 360, and it was all because of greed. And they could care less about what the public truly wants and care more about cutting costs and making a fucking profit. That's what it's all about now. And I'm honestly convinced, and it's a fucked up theory, that Kevin Feige sent Joss Whedon and James Gunn over, from Marvel to compromise DC, because at one point we could have had a closure on the DCEU before they decided to reboot, which was also the plan. After Zack Snyder's finished his trilogy and story. And, like I said, the producers and David Zaslov was willing to give it one more run with the original cast, so that everybody can say their farewell to them and goodbyes. But, James Gunn came in and says, nope, cut that shit off. Make a stand. Fuck the Snyderverse fans. That's pretty much what he said. Was I there? No. But, it could be like the game Telephone, where it's just exaggerating. But I know that James Gunn is not a fucking fan of the Snyderverse fan base. He thinks it's a toxic cult. Every one of them. Doesn't give a flying rat fuck about how much they donated to suicide, prevention. They just think they did that because they wanted their way, and they don't give two fucks about suicide prevention. Like I said, hearsay. I wasn't there, but I'm just passing on the message. And like I said, Zack's original plan of having them reboot after he was done with his shit. Well, look, watch this video as proof.
I found the journal that I pitched when I was pitching BVS. After we did Man of Steel, and I was in the room with all the big wigs, and we were talking about how we'd go forward. And it had the whole thing, all the way, through Dark Side Invasion, the whole thing. And I remember I was looking at it, I was like, wow, like this is like 2014 or whatever. So it's a long, maybe it was 2013 that I pitched. I forget, I have to look at the date, but, so it's a long time in the making as far as what we had in mind. I thought, because what I thought was like anything, we would do this run of these movies, and then we would get to the end, and then they'd have to reboot the whole thing again and start over. Just like kind of the cycle that is natural for DC. And also, I think it's like, then the people have had enough. We've had our run. It's like we wrote a comic book. We took a run and we did some crazy stuff, and stuff that was, and so a lot of ideas were great. Some weren't that great, but we believed in it enough to take it to its final conclusion.
I honestly feel that if it wasn't for the mistreatment of Henry Cavill, then yes, the only ones who have been affected by this decision were those who wanted Zack to complete his trilogy, and with Henry at least having, a Man of Steel sequel and Ben Affleck's Batman film, which I heard is one of the best and most intense Batman scripts people in the professional industry have ever read, and very brutal between Batman and Deathstroke, and Nick James is interested in having Ben Affleck direct a film. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually use his original script, fix it up to fit the, new DCU story, and have him direct it. I wouldn't be surprised at that. And I'd be more interested in, seeing Ben Affleck direct a Batman film with his original script, which is kind of twisted, but I'm not really at all interested in a younger version of Superman, directed and written by James Gunn. I don't think he's right for that. But, we'll see what happens. And, look, I would rather have an already older established Superman, and I wouldn't mind if they actually would have kept Henry Cavill and have him play Superman, but not the same version of the Snyderverse. At least some fans would have been accepting of that, because the guy's been wanting to play Superman for a very long time, and he got fucked 6 ways from Sunday. But again, the problem is that the Snyderverse was just too costly, to keep the old school cast, and that's why they decided to go another way. And that's just the end of it. And they also want a younger version, playing Superman, because James Gunn thinks that Henry Cavill's too old. But again, hearsay, I don't know if that's fucking true. But look, for many years to come, for another 10 years, yeah, it makes sense. Henry's not getting any younger. And James also stated that, it wouldn't be an origin story, and that Superman will be aware of the other heroes or have already met them, kind of like what they did with Tom Holland with Spider-Man, where they avoided, the origin story. But there's a difference, though, is that, you know, in Captain America Civil War, that was kind of like the first time Spider-Man met everybody. But in this case, Superman has already met all these heroes. They're all aware of each other and, you know, just going young, you know. And also, I will say this again, that every DCEU cast member got the fucking pink slip. And sorry, that also goes the same for Zachary Levi, who's been trying his best to kiss so much fucking ass in this latest video, which I'm going to show in a bit. But, you know, they aren't going to announce that prior to his film coming out. That'd be fucking stupid, you know. And the only cast members and characters that are safe from James Gunn's the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker show, you know, like I said, if this actually happens, there's going to be more hell to pay. That his pet project has special privileges. And everyone else lost their dream of continuing to play these characters and jobs. And like I said, man, I heard that Gal Gadot took it really fucking hard because she really loves her fan base and she really loves playing the character. And now it's going to go to somebody else. You know, who knows who? Probably somebody younger, you know? And if they do, listen, look, I'm not going to get into the whole transgender thing, but, you know, I know many people weren't too fond of that when they did that with Dreamer on Supergirl, but yeah, if they actually do this shit for live action, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of hate. But anyway, if he decides to do that, you know, it's not gonna help your cause. Anyway,
I have no idea what's ultimately going to happen to me. I think I'm in a pretty good position. I think we made a great movie. I think it's gonna do well, reasonably well. I hope so. But again, regardless of that, if they decide at some point that, hey, this is the way we gotta go, I mean, then, you know, them's the breaks. That's how it goes. And I hope that people enjoyed, at whatever point I finish playing the role of Shazam, I hope people enjoyed my tenure playing the role and that they come with me to whatever else I get to go and do. That's it. Okay. So I don't want to, it's hard for me to see all these random comments and like basically lies and things that people are throwing around online and not want to respond, because I hate lies. I hate deceit. I hate injustice so much. And so I want to set records straight. By the way, so does James. He's been doing this for a long time. That's why he's so active on Twitter, because he really wants people to know what's up truly and wanting to set records straight. And so it's, you know, that's why you'll see action from me or him or other people coming to defense. It's not because we want to get tied up in some random argument with an internet troll. It's because we're trying to help cut through all of this random, you know, deceitful banter that just keeps going around and around, because a lot of people who are very good, kind people who really like Shazam or these other things are getting worried, like, oh, is this all falling apart? Is this all going away? Everyone just take a breath. I know we've seen some characters, some actors that are taking an exit, and I know that's difficult. That's difficult for even me. You know what I mean? I was hoping I got to work with a lot of these folks, but it's just not the way it's going to go down right now. And I think you all need to, whoever out there is still like all drummed up and pissed off, like just trust that James is so, look, if you haven't watched what he did with Guardians, which was a total niche property that he actually brought really awesome life to, and his reboot of Suicide Squad, that was better than the first one. He really made something incredible there. He understands comic books, guys. He understands world building. He understands how to do right by the canon and also by the characters and also by the audience. And Peter's there to be he's an incredible diplomat and business person. I've worked with him now for years. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay.
Like I said, I feel a little bit better knowing, you know, as to what possibly happened behind the scenes, but at the same time, it's still fucking gut-wrenching as to what happened to Henry. You know, they should have never given the okay for Henry to return, only to retire him 2 months later, which is really fucking embarrassing and completely unprofessional, you know? Which, like I said, David Zaslov is fucking incompetent. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's all over the place. You know, and the fans will never forgive, and they will never forget what James Gunn did. Okay? That's just, I feel bad for the guy, you know, because, not really, you know, because, I mean, if he has the balls to say, you know what, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, you know what, have at it, man. You deal with these trolls for the rest of your life. And, there's also a story from the New York Post where people at DC Studios don't have faith in James Gunn because he lacks experience and is no Kevin Feige. And I completely agree. I mean, it's one thing to take D-list characters and do wonders with them, you know, but again, really wasn't impressed with the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker show. It was all right, but nothing glorious, you know, or as impactful as the Guardians was. And like I said, it's one thing to direct these films and it's another thing to plan everything out, you know, and just do what Kevin has been doing for such a long fucking time, you know? And he hasn't done that many films, you know, he really hasn't. And all I know is that if this shit keeps up, James Gunn's next job will be working at KFC cosplaying as Colonel fucking Sanders and trying to sell chicken. And look, if a customer has an issue with the chicken, he won't fix the issue. He's going to just reboot the fucking flavor and argue that if the taste of the chicken isn't a problem, it's the customer. And if you don't like the taste of it, then tough shit, you're going to eat it anyway and learn to fucking enjoy it. Like the Kentucky Fried Idiots that some people are, you know? And I guess he just never got the memo that, you know, the paying customers are always right. And if you don't do the best you can to make a customer happy, then they're just going to spend their money elsewhere. That's just the truth of it. And I think that eventually people will open up the DC Studios films, and if for some odd reason it fails, they're just going to put the blame on the Snyder Cut fans and the Henry Cavill fans for that failure. And I can't predict the future, but sadly, as of tonight, the clock strikes midnight, it will truly mark the end of the Snyderverse. You know, and I know we got a few more films to go, and I already see that people have no intention on supporting The Flash, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, or even Blue Beetle. And I don't hate James Gunn, okay? Yeah, I'm angry, I'm pissed as you are, and I'm sure he's a good person that was put in a really fucked up situation by the old regime of Warner Brothers. And I'm gonna give him credit for, you know, taking D-list characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy and making them A-list superheroes from the MCU. And even Marvel Studios at one point themselves feared that this was going to be the first failure, but it wasn't. It was a success. And however, you know, like I said, the Suicide Squad wasn't that impressive, and Peacemaker show was okay, which, like I said, it has me worried. You know, I don't know what to think of what he's going to do with the new DC universe. And, you know, sad to say, there is nothing anyone can do except send a message by not supporting new DCU films. And that's how you hurt the studios. That's how you send a proper message, because no amount of anger, petitions, harassment, or bullying will change anything, especially to someone like James Gunn, who is not at all fazed by it, okay, and will defend himself. You know, and that's why prior to James Gunn's hiring, no one wanted to take this job, because it was way too fucking stressful. You know, they're aware of the surroundings and the shit they have to deal with for a very long time, and they just didn't want to deal with it. You know? And I'm gonna, you know, now talk to my fan supporters about Spider-Man 4 and 5 and what I meant by what I teased earlier. So if you want to watch the rest of this video, join the fan support, and may you all have a fantastic and safe new year. Just remember not to web swing and drink, because hitting that wall, that fucking smarts.
Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot.
Woohoo!